Hold up! What happened to this boxer's face? Why does he look like he just got hit by a truck? What the hell went down in that ring? Today, we're diving into one of the most brutal fights in boxing history. A fight that almost ended in tragedy. Seriously, this guy barely made it out alive. But let's rewind a bit and break it all down. Grab a seat, because this one's wild. Back in 2013, we had a legendary showdown between Russian powerhouse Denis Lebedev and Panamanian veteran Guillermo Jones. Both were rocking WBA cruiserweight titles at the time. Lebedev held the status of super champion, while Jones, get this, was labeled champion in recess. Yeah, that's an actual thing. Here's the deal. Jones used to own the belt a year earlier, but due to injuries and 2 canceled fights, the WBA stripped him and gave him that weird vacation champ title. That belt ended up in Lebedev's hands, and Jones wasn't having it. Now, despite his past achievements, most experts didn't see Jones as a real threat. The dude was 41 years old, hadn't been in the ring in ages, and was clearly past his prime. Or so we thought. Lebedev, on the other hand, was in beast mode. He was 7 years younger, riding a 4-fight win streak, and looked unstoppable. He had just knocked out big names like Roy Jones Jr.
Да, вы требуете продолжения банкета, я вас прекрасно понимаю.
Легко смогли еще
а бой заканчивается.
Ой-ой-ой, вот это уже пропустил. Очень
великолепная концовка. Давай, Денис, давай. Все. Это нокаут.
Sean Cox.
Все-таки более разнообразный. Ну, крепкая голова у Кокса, а? Он уже пропустил столько ударов.
Вот сейчас начинается сказываться класс боксера. Денис хорошо проваливает и контратакует.
And Santander Silgado.
Со стороны Дениса.
Здорово, здорово.
Но надо не останавливаться. Минута почти до конца. Все.
Only his fight against James Toney went the distance, and he still walked away with a majority decision win.
Эти моменты, ради чего, собственно, и хочется смотреть, да, Джеймса Тони. Даже
эти десятки и сотни. Ой, как здорово.
Зал неистовствует.
Ну что ж, все понятно.
Unlike his opponent, Lebedev didn't have much trouble making weight. The fighters had been hyping this one up on Instagram way before fight night, trading video messages and talking smack. The Panamanian even promised he'd come to Moscow and get a taste of Russian meat. So, it was on. Denis Lebedev stepped into the ring against former world champ Guillermo Jones. Right from the opening bell, the two went to war, throwing bombs back and forth. Denis came out aggressive, staying busy, moving a lot, and landing more shots. But Jones, already 41 years old, didn't care one bit. Dude just walked through punches like a tank and kept firing back with heavy artillery.
Рассечение у Лебедева, посмотрите. Ну, Денис должен точным встречным ударом.
By the end of the first round, Jones landed some nasty shots, and a cut opened up above Lebedev's right eye. That wound ended up being a game changer. The cut men did what they could, but the eye kept swelling shut, turning into a real horror show.
Очень много держит, а еще впереди полбоя.
Knowing he was in trouble, Lebedev pushed hard to end the fight early. He knew he couldn't go the distance with that kind of damage. Meanwhile, the massive Panamanian stuck to his game plan. He kept the pressure on, zeroed in on that busted eye, and kept the heat coming. Jones was letting his hands go more often and landing cleaner shots. Lebedev did manage to tag him with some solid headshots, but it looked like Jones was just eating them, like he barely felt a thing, no matter how hard Denis hit.
Пропустил столько сильных ударов, и он хорошо держится на ногах.
И насколько тоненькая щелочка, чтобы подходить. А сейчас это делать все сложнее и сложнее.
Да, американец явно приехал.
Still, overall control of the fight let Denis bank those early rounds. Judges' scorecards back that up. But everything flipped once that cut from round 1 started messing with Denis. Mentally, he started to crack. That's when he began swinging wild, trying to end the fight early. But nothing was landing clean, and it all just burned energy. Meanwhile, his opponent wasn't playing fair. He stuck to a dirty game plan, targeting the cut over and over.
Уже почти на автомате.
А всего только половина боя прошла.
Да.
Guillermo Jones.
Up until round 4, Lebedev's cutman was doing a solid job keeping that right eye open. But as the fight dragged on, it got worse fast. By round 5, Denis could barely see out of that eye. Swelling turned into a balloon. That totally changed the flow of the fight.
Крупный план Дениса Лебедева, да, рассечение действительно становится уже критическим, я бы сказал. Очень тяжело
Там
ему будет
рассечение,
боксировать.
гематома.
Гематома,
Глаз
глаз
закрыт,
закрыт,
посмотрите.
Да. Я
Я
вспоминаю.
специально подошел сейчас.
The Panamanians started landing more, throwing wide shots that kept finding their mark. Denis just couldn't see enough to respond. His vision was shot. Looking at the scorecards, you'll see that by round 11, Denis was somehow still ahead. All he needed was to survive without hitting the canvas and maybe steal one more round. But that hematoma was a nightmare. By that point, he'd been fighting half-blind for several rounds. And now the other eye was starting to swell shut too.
Не осталось. Что такое?
Крисудолу пытается поднять.
Посмотрите, какая огромная опухоль у Лебедева.
Then came the end of round 11. Jones landed another clean shot to Denis's right side. The pain was just too much. Denis dropped to one knee. He couldn't take it anymore. But the Panamanian fighter kept fighting dirty. He landed a nasty shot right to Denis's temple, and the Russian went down hard.
Постоянно весь бой опущенный, и он рассчитывает только на свои уворачиваться, и шеей даже, и корпусом слегка.
Lebedev got back on his feet, but it was obvious he was in no shape to keep going. The ref saw it too and called it. Technical knockout.
Что такое? Бой остановлен?
Крисудолу остановил бой.
И удивительно, не против был Денис Лебедев. Да.
Да, вот так драматично и неожиданно для всех нас.
Все-таки как будто знал Гильермо Джонс, как это все произойдет, а?
The fight was waved off with just 59 seconds left in the round. Denis didn't argue. He accepted the loss like a pro. Jones pulled off a huge upset and snatched back the title. Nobody saw that coming, especially since he came in as the underdog. But the real drama came after the bell. Instead of heading straight to the hospital for a checkup, Lebedev went back to his hotel room. He spent the whole night in pain, unable to sleep. It wasn't until the next morning, thanks to his lawyer, that he was finally rushed to the hospital. That's when doctors dropped the bomb. He was this close to dying. If that hematoma had spread just a little further into his temple, it could have been fatal. Luckily, fate was on Denis's side that day. The swelling went down into his cheek. No surgery needed. The hematoma cleared up on its own. Later on, the truth came out about why the older Jones looked so strong and outlasted Denis in the ring. On October 18th, 2013, a banned substance was found in Jones's system, a drug often used by athletes to quickly cut weight and sometimes to mask other forms of doping. That illegal cocktail ended up getting Jones suspended. The WBA Super Champion title was handed back to Lebedev, and by 2015, the fight was officially ruled a no contest. Almost immediately after Denis recovered, talks began about a rematch. It took some tough negotiations, but the rematch was finally set, April 2014. This time, Denis's team didn't wait around for the post-fight doping test results. They acted early. And sure enough, samples taken 5 days before the bout came back positive for furosemide again. That was the final straw. The Panamanian boxer was done. He got hit with a 2-year ban from boxing.